Yeah. Shalom from Jerusalem. My name is Albert Wexler. I'm the director of Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast, and we're here in our office on this very remarkable day. Jeremy, you have been with us earlier in these interviews we've been, doing during the war, but you are the head of the Ebenezer Operation Exodus here in Israel.
Yeah.
And what a day! I mean, or what a night, we should say.
Yes, we had warnings for about 12 hours before that something may happen. But we've walked through these so many times now that really, I don't know, many of us really expected anything to happen. But the first thing I knew about the drone and the missile attack coming from Iran was I had 5 explosions going off above me. I don't know if they were in the air or on the ground, and they were loud explosions. And so whether we took out some drone or whether some missile hit the ground, I really don't know. But we were very quickly sent to our bomb shelter. I have 4 children, 2 of those are in the IDF at the moment, and 2 younger girls.
Say it one more time. You have how many children in the IDF at the moment?
I have 2 children in the IDF. I have one 20-year-old male son who has been in since basically October the 7th. And he was called after the attack when 1,200 people were butchered. And it was really a moment because the sirens went off. The attack started at 6:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock, the sirens went off, and we all started to move to the bomb shelter when he realized that actually he wasn't going to the bomb shelter. He'd been called to a car. They were going to take him into or close to Gaza. And so he realized at that moment he wasn't going to the safe place. He was going into, he knew not what, but he was going into it. And so
it's been quite a while now since it all happened.
6 months.
Exactly.
And he's been in Gaza for, apart from 4 or 5 days here or there, he's been in for the whole time. And he's gone through some very difficult circumstances. He's a medic, so he's had to patch people up. He's lost a few of his friends. It's just been a very, very difficult and ongoing time. So thankfully he had 2 weeks off these last 2 weeks. He got to see his American girlfriend, which was wonderful. And she actually got on a plane 3 minutes before Israel closed the airspace last night. So she managed to get out of Israel, which we're grateful for. But now he will be into he goes back into his unit in Gaza on Wednesday. My other son now has gone down to finish his medics course. He will also be in Gaza at some point, don't know when. But yes, it's very much alive for us as a family.
It's not easy. But now looking towards the future, what do you think the future will bring? I mean, Iran hit us with 330 missiles, the unmanned aerial vehicles.
Yeah. And they weren't just for our army bases. It actually covered the whole of the country. So this wasn't it's a war crime. They've gone after the whole country. And thank God Israel and their partners and friends managed to take out the majority, if not 90-something%, they say.
I think they said 99%.
99%. So thank God for our defences. Otherwise, this country would be in a real mess. We'd have had explosions everywhere. It was real. It would happen, but for the fact that we managed to defend ourselves.
I mean, we talk about massive, big missiles with half a ton of explosive warheads.
Absolutely.
On it, and I mean.
And my son said, we had these 5 explosions, and they were loud explosions. And he said, "Dad, don't worry, it's a long way away," and it was noisy. So we knew what was going on, but even so, it's a fearful thing. And my children, 11 o'clock last night, the Home Front Command said all of our children who were in camps, which is a lot of them now, because it's holidays, they had to up their camp and get everybody home. And it was a scary thing for our kids and our children. So they walked through all of that. They got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. Not knowing what was happening, only being told that something was happening, but they didn't know what. So now we have children who are very much affected by all that we are experiencing?
I think Israel would need to respond to this heinous attack, from Iran, from Iranian soil, and I think our viewers, we should call them really for prayer and intercession, because this is a moment, a very critical moment, I believe, that God would need to interfere by His wisdom and allowing our leaders to really make the right decisions.
I mean, this is I won't say it's the first time, but actually it's a biggest time where Iran has sent missiles from Iran. Normally they're using their proxies, so it's more insipid, but now Iran has come at us, and really we are within our rights to defend our land. I mean, so I expect Israel to respond. And I had a question this morning from a Reuters reporter, what do you think about these protests? And I think this is a terrible time to protest, and I think it's really, it's pulling our country apart, when really we should be behind our government, standing with Netanyahu, so that he does what he needs to do, and the pressure must be horrendous. But I think he does have to respond now, and he has to respond hard, not against the Iranian people. We're not looking to destroy Iran in that sense, but we do need to deal with their weapons, their army, whatever could attack us in the future. We need to deal with that.
Well, it's the nuclear program that we need to deal with, because, in my opinion, all of or much of what has been happening is actually a distraction. Iran is trying to distract the world from their nuclear program. They are at the threshold, if not they have crossed the threshold, and it seems like nobody cares. But if you think of a world where Iran has nuclear weapons, what would that world look like?
And their ideology, what they're expecting is for the 12th Imam to come, and he will come when there's chaos all over the earth. So what they believe is they are to create the chaos so that their Messiah can come. So it's actually an ideology, and if you live in Israel long enough, you realize that what you believe is who you are. I came from England, and I might believe something, but it doesn't affect my general living, whereas here it does. And so this is what they are trying to do. This is their ideology. Not all of Iran, again, not the people of Iran, but this regime. And that's what needs to be dealt with if we're to be in peace in these days. And,
there's a threat to the whole world. I remember from my studies that when Begin in his time put out the Iraqi nuclear reactor, U.S. responded in a harsh way. Condemning Israel. It was 1981, I think, but then or 82, and so. But 10 years later, during the Gulf War, I think everybody was happy that Iraq didn't have the nuclear weapons. The same with Syria in 2007. In 2011, they had the civil war start. Imagine if they would have had also the nuclear weapons.
And I think also the Arab world realizes this. So we've got, Jordan, and I'm not sure about Saudi Arabia, but they were shooting down these drones coming towards Israel. They don't want Iran on their doorstep, and they don't want Iran using their airspace to attack Israel. So there is a huge division within the Arab peoples at the moment, I think. But yes, we are on the forefront, but if we go back to Gaza and Hamas, what we're seeing around the world now, Hamas isn't just in Gaza, it's in Europe. It's a bit, like ISIS. We're seeing attacks in Europe, in France, in England. We're seeing these huge rallies of Muslim people or Islamic people threatening our governments. And so this isn't a problem just for Israel. It's actually now for the whole world. And I think it's part of, God will be bringing about his purposes out of this, and that's for the Jewish people, that it's becoming safer to be in Israel than it is to be around the rest of the world.
And you, of course, have been assisting hundreds of people now these last months and years.
Ebenezer's been going for 30 years now, and they've brought back and assisted 190,000 Jewish people back to the land. And so we are working in many nations to assist in their return. And so we are a service organization. We're a friend to the Jewish people because we see they are now safer back in the land of Israel. Even with all that's going on, they are still safer here than they are in many nations around the world. And so we will do what we can to help that. And for those Christians out there that see this, please pray. We are watchmen standing on our walls, and the time is now to pray for the Jewish people and for the Christians, but to stand in the gap for the nation of Israel. It is God's plan. It is his purpose. He will fulfill his purposes. And if you want to stand with the God of the Bible, then you will be praying and interceding for all that's going on. So,
Jeremy Smith, Ebenezer Operation Exodus, thank you so much for being with us today.
Delighted.
And
delighted.
just to say that we need your prayers like never before. I mean, imagine going through this kind of a night where 330 missiles and drones are being sent from Iran towards Israeli cities. And I mean, obviously Israel is at war, and we need you to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, remembering that those who love Jerusalem will prosper. And God will bless you for your stand with Israel. And I believe that his blessings will overflow your home, your cities, your families, and your country. And so from Jerusalem, we just want to say that we need you, we love you, and we want to see you soon in Jerusalem and pray together with us. Thank you so much for joining us today, and see you soon again.